That way I'm okay existing in the context of the space, and that way and navigating the beauty space that way. Not the bows, not the bows, not the bows, not the bow. Natasha Denona has released the I Need a Warm palette. Let's talk about this naming convention for just 1 second. I don't like it. I see what they were trying to do. Like, I get what they were trying to do. I understand what they were trying to do, but I don't think they've done it successfully. In this naming mechanism is the naked palette, the pillow talk situation we have going over on Charlotte Tilbury. She knew that we didn't want another I Need a Nude. But the thing about I Need a Nude is it actually is a pretty good naming mechanism for the lipsticks. I think it was a good naming mechanism for the palette that they released that was called I Need a Nude. I Need a Warm is a stretch. If that implies that there will be an I Need a Cool, what? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I Need a Warm palette. And I think they assume that we are all going to say palette after warm. I need a warm palette. A sentence. That's not a name. That's not the name of something. But like, I also already have palettes, so I don't need a warm palette. I don't need this warm palette. I also I just don't understand. And it does sound like I need a worm, which is why I said not the worms at the beginning of this segment, because it's just like, why I need a worm, because we don't do that. Like, whenever we pull out, it's like, oh, this is the, I feel like we don't say that I Need a Nude palette. I feel like we just say oh, this is from Natasha Denona's I Need a Nude line. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that we thought this all the way through, babes. And I would like for you to reconsider this naming mechanism going forward. I don't think it's good, and I don't think it's catchy, and it's a mouthful. You had the alliteration with the need and nude, and you had the long E sound with the oo sound in ood. It's like nude, not ood. Ood is a different thing. We're not talking about oud right now. I don't think we're talking about oud at all in this video, actually. I don't think we have any fragrances. It's a warm. I need a warm. Like, warm. Do you know what I mean? Like, my mouth is like, I need a nude. Ood. I don't have to open my mouth. I don't have to open my mouth as much, but I need a warm. Do you know what I mean? Warm. And as someone from a place with a dialect that often switches things up and doesn't pronounce things right, I think it's particularly hard for me to get right. We here in Pittsburgh suffer from a similar thing. I think it's like Philadelphia, or I think maybe is it Baltimore? Like iron. There's a bunch of things that we say in Pittsburgh wrong. But let me get my phone so I can actually look at the palette and tell you what I think of it. Oh, no, I don't want to live without you. There is a multi-chrome in here, which is fun, I guess. Like, welcome. You know, and I know she's had multi-chromes before. She had the trichrome palette or whatever. Natasha Denona has just lost the plot. A little bit. A lot, actually. I think she's completely lost the plot. She is right where Pat McGrath is for me right now. Like, someone who used to have a vision for her brand, and now she only sells neutral palettes, and it seems like she's just going to start building her brand all around different types of neutrals. Now, not to say that I don't think that this palette is necessary. I feel like some people are going to really like it. This is going to be some people's favorite everyday palette. This wouldn't be an everyday palette for me. It's not even that I think it's an ugly palette. I just think there's not been new territory tread in a while. We have I Need a Warm. We released the golden palette, which was mostly the gold palette, but just re-released. I heard the formulas were more updated, but I honestly didn't watch that much content about the golden palette because I didn't care about it. I have the gold palette, and that is, for me, the superior palette, even if I would use the new golden palette. So this is losing me in a number of ways. I do tend to like cool tones more so right now. So the leaning into the warm, it's not for me. It's it's okay when makeup's released. That's not for me. It's also okay when makeup is released and it's not for you, but taking the time to recognize it as something that I think not everyone does. And that's what I'm doing here. But I also just pulling out from the brand and just kind of look what they've done over the last couple of years. It's these warm tones, these neutrals is, the divine rose of Natasha Denona. And I can't unsee it, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for my wallet. I have enough Natasha Denona at this point, and I think Natasha has already given me everything that I would want from her. These were sneak peeked after I filmed Critical Sass. Last time I filmed Critical Sass, Chanel is releasing some cream blushes and it's coming out in 5 shades. But I think what I'm most interested in, and I think what most of you who have like tagged me in this are most interested in, is the shade called Beige Eclatant, which it's very hard to like figure out what that might look like on the skin just based on what we've seen so far. And I saw that they were released. I saw Michelle Wong post that they were released. I didn't go ahead and buy them or anything like that. I'm keen on seeing that color on other people. So if you see anyone swatching it or using that shade, I would love to be like tagged on Instagram. Don't have to send it to me, just like tag me in the post. I would really appreciate it because I'm just so curious of what that might look like on me. It's something that I have my eyes on for sure. It's like something that I think I could want. I'm also wondering how close it might be to ombre, the Chanel shade that I have that's been discontinued, but it's a powder formula, so this would be a cream. I'm just in general pretty curious about this, but I'm not hauling to like go buy it. Like it's not something that's like very high on my to-do list as far as like what I might be buying right now. It's not really high up there. In fact, we'll talk a little bit about the overall shift in my desires in makeup right now, which is like actually I think pretty interesting, all things considered, with the way I've been talking about makeup for the last year or so. Next up, Givenchy has released its holiday collection. It's been revealed. I don't know if it's out yet. So they're doing a Prism Leaf highlighter, which is a loose highlighter, an eyeshadow palette, and then they also have 2 lipsticks in limited edition packaging, warm brown and a red. There's always like a red because it's Christmas time, of course. We're all wearing red lipstick, obviously. Obviously, the brands just know that we're all wearing red lipstick. I don't know what's going on with Givenchy. It's not really to do with this collection, but it's just like an overall thought. So it seems as though they're like reformulating some things, and I think, I don't know how they've been receiving the messaging regarding the reformulation of their powder, which was like an iconic product that I feel like had a lot of rebuy value for the brand. They changed that formula and now it's kind of like a highlighter. And then they're releasing a loose highlighter. It's me. I'm like so resistant to change. Like I'm a very straight and binary person, and I am having trouble grasping with this change because I don't want everything. I can't. I don't want loose eyeshadows. I don't want loose highlighters. I don't want loose blushes. I barely like to use loose setting powder. So I don't like this trend. And it's Givenchy tends to do this. Like they have their loose blushes. So like hopefully it stays within that brand. But we did this for a while. And I think we moved away from loose things because they don't travel as well, and it's like if it opens then you might lose all of the product. I don't love that. The warm brown in this picture is just a red. It looks red. And I think it's kind of actually an insult to release your glowy setting powder and then release a loose highlighting powder, because it kind of seems like the powder you just released was a highlighting powder. Anyway, Givenchy, call me. I have some ideas for you. I don't like this. Also, I just don't think of Givenchy and eyeshadow. So the eyeshadow palette is like also kind of, and also the eyeshadow palettes from Givenchy, they leave a lot to be desired as far as like aesthetic looking whenever you like have it in person. They don't feel super expensive, but they are kind of really expensive. And it's just like, what are we doing here? But I also kind of feel that way about Givenchy as a whole, as like, this is expensive, but and for what? Patrick Ta is releasing a new foundation. It's the Major Skin Hydra Luxe Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation by Patrick Ta Beauty. Quote, "The first step to show-stopping skin. After years of perfecting lit from within skin on everyone, Patrick developed his Everything Foundation. Lightweight and luminous with serum-inspired ingredients, medium coverage formula boosts radiance and blurs imperfections, blending beautifully with bare skin, even better with makeup. In 30 shades from fair to deep with different undertones. $58. The shade range doesn't... It's pretty good. For only having 30 shades, it's like it looks like we have 10, 10, and 10. So like 10 light, fair light, 10 tan, medium shades, and then 10 medium deeper shades. It looks good, but you know, I think if you're just a consumer of makeup, wait to see someone with your skin tone try it before you go out and buy it. Okay, so I did not realize that I was not using the enhanced audio for the previous part of this video, so it should sound a little, at least louder. And I just wanted to give you a heads up. It did take me this long to notice. No, I'm not going to go back and re-edit the previous portions of the video. But I also wanted to give you a heads up about the audio spike. I am, now that I know this, going to up the volume on the previous part of the video so to not make it so imbalanced, but it's gonna sound different. Not like incredibly different, but like it's gonna sound a little bit different moving forward. So sorry, but glad I caught that because I would have been very mad at myself. I was like, why is this audio so quiet? Because I was using the wrong audio. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're only 10 minutes into the video. It's fine. I don't know if you've caught the vibe, but Patrick Ta's brand is a brand that I just am like not keen on. I'm going to try to say this as diplomatically as I can. It does feel to me that not everything is thought out always. Some of it I think is very thought out, but I do think that this foundation is a direct response to how poorly received his last foundation was. I don't think I saw a good review of it. I also think I didn't see reviews mean enough because, baby, I don't think anyone's foundation looked good when they were wearing it. Like, I don't think that worked. You know me in duos. It's not for me, especially whenever, like, I'm supposed to use the setting powder that you gave to me. It's like, but what if I don't like that setting powder? And maybe I do like the foundation or vice versa. And then I just have this other product just sitting in there. I know that people really like his blushes and his bronzers, but, like, I just think that format for foundation was really a poor decision. I just also kind of like feel the same way about the eyeshadow palettes. I feel like people like the mattes. That's what I've heard. And I've heard that they get moldy. Like, I don't know. It just feels like, what are we doing here? What's the goal? What are we after? Because like, I feel like when I look at Patrick Ta's brand, it's not a vision. It's just millennial. You know, it's like, I like rose gold. Do you like rose gold? This is all rose gold. Would you like some of it? Would you like some of it? Don't touch that. You will get your fingerprint on it, baby. There's no right answer for packaging because the matte packaging kind of gets gross if you have it for a while too. So it's like, it is what it is. It is what it is. I would prefer shiny. Anyway, I don't know. Patrick Ta's brand, it's just like, it's not interesting to me. Is this the first thing from Patrick Ta? Really, besides like the loose sparkly eyeshadows he released last holiday? Is this the first thing that I've been like, well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I would try it. It's $58. And $58 coming from a brand that doesn't seem to like do anything for me already it's a high buy-in for something I'm not excited about. And so I will continue to be curious from afar. Basically, the brands, every one of them, I mean, not every one of them, but a lot of them got together and they were like, these bitches out here are so fugly. Let's make some concealer for them. There's so many concealers coming out right now. There are so many concealers coming out right now. And I'm actually overwhelmed. Like, I feel like every brand is releasing a concealer. And I had the thought, like, it's so strange that they're all coming out with concealers right now. And I'm like, but why? There's a little bit of a cyclical nature when it comes to the beauty space. And if you've been in it long enough, you kind of know, like, in the new year, like, the beginning of the year, a lot of brands will launch foundation like from January to March. From like March to June, we get blush and bronzer launches. And then at the end of fall, we start seeing holiday, like eyeshadow palettes that like brands that only release eyeshadow palettes. Obviously, indie brands are a little bit on like a different, they're doing different things. They're not always like keeping up with what all the major brands are doing, but like just having worked at Sephora. And then whenever you get into winter, like skincare becomes like a focus again. So it's like, you would think that concealers would come out. I guess I never really thought about when concealers come out. I don't know if this is when concealers are usually launched. Is this like normal? Someone help me. I'm not going to talk about all of them. We'll touch a little bit on the ones that I'm the most interested in throughout this video, but I just wanted to acknowledge that there are so many brands launching concealers right now. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's start with the one that I think everyone is most curious about. Victoria Beckham. She's releasing her first complexion product, and it's a concealer pen. And it comes in 16 shades, and it's $68. It's a click pen concealer. What I will say is that clearly, it's so clear to me, Victoria Beckham loved Burberry's makeup line whenever it first launched, because a lot of the products that she has been releasing and making, not all of them, obviously she has a vision of her own, but it does seem to me she keeps bringing back things that maybe disappeared from the Burberry line, like the contour stick that she released, and also this. I'm not saying that Burberry was the only brand with a concealer pen, because YSL also has had theirs for a really long time. And obviously a lot of brands since have come out because of the popularity of that kind of formula. But it's so like, I owned this concealer from Burberry and now like Victoria. So it's coming out in 16 shades. And I've seen both arguments made for the shade range, that it's not a great shade range. And I would guess if you have an undertone that's not a common undertone or like not a neutral undertone, it probably would be hard to find your perfect concealer amount in this range. But other people I've seen applaud it for, there's only 16 shades, and it does feel like we've done as much as we could if we were only going to release 16 shades. I'm not here to tell you whether that's good or bad. I am here to tell you that my interest was piqued. However, it's $68 and it doesn't say it's refillable or anything. I guess it's like kind of my expectation from Victoria Beckham, because I feel like at least her bronzer is refillable. The eyeshadow compacts are refillable. I don't think her lipsticks are though. And it's like, it seems like most brands, if they have a refillable thing, it is their lipstick. So I don't understand why that's not where we're headed. $70 for a concealer. It's like, that's a lot. So this would have to be a miracle worker for it to be worth it, because there's not a lot of product in it and it's so expensive. Because sometimes it all works out in the wash a little bit. Like it's like, like you get a lot of product, but it also is expensive, but it's a luxury brand, blah, blah, blah. Victoria Beckham's brand, I think for the most part is like priced as what I would expect a luxury brand to sell their things at, especially for the most part from what I've experienced from Victoria Beckham. The packaging like lives up to what I would expect from a luxury brand. Luxe, heavy, feels good in the hands. Not everything, but a lot of it does. And I'm just kind of like hoping that if this was really well thought out, that the formula is really good and then it all kind of feels worth it, but it just really is really expensive. I want to compare it in my brain to the Farah Hamidi one, which the first time you buy it, if you buy the full compact and not just the refill, is exorbitantly expensive. It's like, I think it's almost $90. Then the refills are $40, which I think is also still expensive for a concealer, but you're not always having to buy that for the same experience. Like if you really like that product and you use it up and you buy it again and again, it's not like you're spending $90 every time, but it appears so far that that is the case for this. So it's like $70 every time I'm buying it, and that seems like a lot. I will be buying it. I feel as though Victoria Beckham is a brand that I talk a lot about. Victoria Beckham's brand is a brand that, if we were going to say that Tom favors a brand or some brands, this is a brand that I kind of favor. So I'm like interested in it because it's the brand. I'm interested in it because of my experience with other products from the brand. Also that kind of like weird like Burberry thing that both Vicky and I seem to have. Like I don't know what that is. We both seem to understand that. So I'm curious on all of those fronts. So I will be buying this. But if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I wouldn't. So do with that information what you will. I'm just being upfront with you. I haven't bought it yet. It doesn't come out until September 4th. You can pre-order it, but I'm in no rush to spend $70, but I will probably buy it over the weekend. It's so expensive. I was like, maybe $50 is what I was like. I don't know. I think the Burberry one when I bought it, but again, that was like now almost 10 years ago, was I think closer to $40, maybe $32. And I remember thinking that was really expensive at the time. I don't know off the top of my head, but I remember it feeling expensive at the time, but now I feel like the makeup all the makeup is so expensive. Makeup by Mario is releasing some new surrealskin products. The surrealskin setting collection, the surrealskin soft blur setting powder, $38. Weightless formula with both skin tone enhancing and brightening tones to build in soft layers. Controls shine without making skin look or feel dry for a blurred natural finish. It's non-comedogenic, non-cakey, without photo flashback. There's a puff, who cares? And then the surrealskin soft setting spray, an ultrafine mist that evenly coats makeup without disrupting it for all-day hydration. The formula layers beautifully while softly setting makeup to create a natural lived-in finish. Alcohol and fragrance-free for $34. Wonder how much product you get in these. I'll put it on the screen because I think that's always worth noting. The price per ounce is, I feel like, the most important when it comes to setting powder, because like eyeshadows, I'm not using that quickly. The Laura Mercier setting powder is one of few powders that comes in a full ounce. You get a full ounce of product. And a lot of other ones you get like less than that and like a lot less, but it's like the same price as the Laura Mercier. And also sometimes if you like do some drugstore math, those powders price per ounce is more expensive than the Laura Mercier. I mean, I'm just saying, I always think that's most worth doing when it comes to a setting powder. So I'm curious just how much is in there. I will say it's a very alluring sounding powder. Blurring. However, I tried that foundation And that man really likes to put mica and stuff that I don't think needs mica. So I will be curious. I don't know if anyone has this yet. I haven't seen any reviews. I also haven't really been watching a lot of YouTube in my free time recently. So maybe it is out and people are already talking about it. But like, I would have to look at the ingredients before I would even consider buying it, because everything he makes is shiny, including those new bronzer, the bronzer with the pump and the doe foot applicator. That also has a lot of mica in it. If you have not seen those in person, if you haven't had the opportunity, or you just like don't have a Sephora near you to like look at it, they look silver in the bottle. The product looks silver in the bottle because that's how much. I'm not sure if it's mica, but there's some kind of shimmering product is in there. It doesn't look like that on the skin, but it's like, this man loves mica. I'm just not trusting the setting powder. I think the setting spray is pretty alluring. I'm not saying like I'm a connoisseur of setting spray, but the all-nighter make me go, okay, maybe I don't only need to have MAC Fix Plus always. I always want to have one on me, but maybe I could have other options. I really like the all-nighter setting spray. I don't like the smell of it too much, so maybe I'll try some other setting sprays this coming year, or whenever I use up the all-nighter. This could do that for that, but it also just sounds like a really lovely setting spray. So I'm kind of like into that, but what if it has mica in it? I don't know. It sounds like it would replace Fix Plus as opposed to like replace all-nighter of the setting sprays I already have in my makeup collection. I always have my eye on Makeup by Mario. I'm like waiting for greatness. I just don't think we've had it. Like, I love Ethereal Eyes, love her. And that's that on that. Sigma, Sigma, Sigma. They're doing a collection with the Little Mermaid. I'm just going to cut straight to the chase here. I want a clamshell compact. I would probably prefer the highlighter over the blush. I sometimes get Sigma PR. I didn't get the skin tints. I don't know if I'll get this. It depends. I do have a promo code with them, like an affiliate code with them. So I don't know if I'll get this, but it's okay if I don't. But I won't buy them if I don't. I'd really like the clamshell. I would really like the clamshell compact. I just want to interact with it. Like, I want to see what it feels like. Just like the way it looks. It's so stupid. Face sometimes where I'm like, it'd be really nice to get that in PR because I would never buy it. I just want to interact with it. I didn't really love their highlighter formula, but maybe this one's different. I don't know. And then the eyeshadow palette. Later on in this video, I'm going to talk about how I'm like so into eyeshadow right now. And I look at this palette, I'm like, there's a lot of color in here. I mean, there's a lot of blues, blue, purple, but no green. It's like, I actually think they did a pretty good job. It just like seems like there's a lot of shimmers in here. I think they did a pretty good job capturing a lot of the colors one might see in The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid is not an IP that I'm particularly invested in. I'm not really particularly invested in any kind of IP that has to do with Disney. I'm not like a Disney adult. I wasn't really a Disney kid. In fact, I was watching a podcast today and they were talking about Disney movies, and they talked for like an hour just off the noggin about Disney movies. And I was like, I just don't think I like movies. I don't think I like any movies that much specific. And then beyond that, not a Disney movie that much. Like, and I don't want anyone to get it twisted. Like, there are Disney movies I have enjoyed. I'm not trying to be like mightier than now when I say it's just like, I don't know. That's not what I'm doing with my time, okay? It wasn't what I was doing with my time as a child either. Who knows what I was doing? I ended up like this for a reason, and you ended up the way you did for a reason. So just take that into consideration if you're a Disney adult. Oh my God, my whole nipple is out. Hold on. Sorry about my nipple. I love this garment. I really do. But it's also elaborate and confusing to get on. And it's funny because I think I put it on wrong today, because there have been other times where I put it on and it's like, it's been totally fine. And then today, for some reason, I'm getting a lot of shifting. I'm getting a lot of moving. I'm getting a lot of grooving. This is my first, my mind's changing a little bit about some makeup items. And this is from Armani. It's the Aqua Highlighter. And I think these look gorgeous. They look gorgeous and I want one. Pearly illuminating fluid with a natural blend to sculpt your face from every angle. It's already available in Europe if you happen to be a European hottie. I find it very alluring. I'm very attracted to the idea of this. Armani products don't always hit for me, and I don't even know the last time I tried an Armani product. I skipped on the blushes. I think the last thing I had was the concealer, which I really liked, and then I just kind of moved on from. The one I had was really old, and it was like time to move on from it, and I had another concealer I liked more, so that's where I ended up with that. I didn't realize that the straps were adjustable on this garment until just now. So I have now adjusted the straps and hopefully my nipple stops making an appearance. You know, you didn't think this was the video you were going to get today, but it is the video you got. We accept the nipples we think we deserve, but it's just not something I'm going to run out and buy. And just knowing the pricing of Armani, it's going to be like more than I'm going to want to spend on something like this. I mean, not really, but it's like I have glow lust. I have all these things. It's just I'm going to continue to love those. If this were to come into my life, I'm sure I would really love it, but it's also not something that I feel like I really want to review. It's not like I have a million liquid highlighters. I have the ones from Surreal that I got this year. I'm actually wearing one right now. Oh, wow. Look at that glow. I think that glows from like a myriad of things I have on my skin today, but I think mainly it is the Surreal one. Could be a number of things, actually. Gorgeous, stunning release. I think it's a great release. Speaking of highlighters that I find very compelling, alluring, Gucci is releasing a powder gel highlighter, the Glow Powder Gel Highlighter. Powder gel highlighter powered by the glow light capturing technology. This formula is infused with high concentration of thin pearls and unique powder gel texture. For a light reflecting multi-dimensional glow finish, this illuminating powder melts into the skin and enhances complexion radiance. $59. The lilac shade, I will say, is calling to me. I think all of the shades look gorgeous. There's a beautiful bronzy deep one. What Gucci like does that sometimes. Now in the listing on Treadmood, it only lists 4 shades, but there's pictures of 5, and I think they all look gorgeous. I would be compelled to get the purple one, and depending on what the formula is like, if they're super pigmented, I could also see myself getting the like medium deep one as like a blush topper. I feel I've had very hit or miss experiences with Gucci powders, but powder gel, the gel to powder, gel powder, powder gel thing, I find very compelling. I like that kind of highlighter. I like a baked gelée kind of highlighter. So this sounds like it's going to be gorgeous. And again, the lilac one is really speaking to me. I don't know. I'm into purple highlighter again. I don't know. Is it 2016? I don't know. But I also think if I were to buy this, I would get 2 just in case. Now, they do have face swatches on the Trendmood post of all of the shades on all skin tones. The lightest one they didn't put on a deep skin tone, but the other 4 they did. I feel like what's kind of in vogue right now when it comes to powder highlighters is basically what the Diamond Bomb was, where it's like there's no base, it's just the shimmer particle that carries the highlight. I'm actually keen on this. I might buy this. I'm curious about it. I hate the blushes from Gucci. They were not for me. A lot of people like them. I'm one of the outliers on that. Because of that, I held off on trying the bronzer, and then Nicole, who is also known, I think, as Majestic Beast Beauty on Instagram, she sent over her Gucci bronzer to me that she like didn't love, and I love that thing. So I don't know, I might pick these up. It's looking like it might be a bit of an expensive holiday season for me for things I would like to try. I might pick up 2 shades. I might pick up 1. I am concerned if I do pick one, I really want to try the purple one, but my fear is I wouldn't wear the purple one as much as I would wear like, you know, something more natural looking. I haven't made up my mind, but it feels to me like that would be a purchase I would like to make. Are these out now? September 2nd at retailers. I'm liking the idea of it. Here's another concealer. Westman Atelier has released the Vital Skincare Concealer, medium to full coverage that brightens, blurs, and sets in seconds. Airy supernatural finish. Pro pigments and serum strength actives combine for precise melt-in coverage that feels as good as it looks. Nourishing yet airy, this formula delivers creaseless, hyper-real finish with soft focus pigments that blur, bounce, light, and let skin breathe. Hyaluronic acid, peptides, hydrate, and firm, while Vital Makeup Complex evens tone and brightness. Oh, $48. It could be worse. It has all of their secret skincare blends. They also have 16 shades. And I don't think this range looks as promising as the Victoria Beckham one. I know it all remains to be seen. The self-setting I find interesting. It says sets in seconds. Sets in seconds. That kind of goes against all of what when I think of Westman Atelier, I think of things that are give you a lot of time to work on them, a lot of space to breathe. Things that really don't set is kind of the vibe for them. Not only that, I guess I've mostly heard their foundation stick kind of be mostly used as a concealer stick, kind of like what Merit sells their complexion stick as. That's how I view it. If I were to buy the one from West Atelier, the foundation stick. I think that's how I would use it. It would be like a spot concealing, just like where I need it, and then I would move on with my life. Anyway, so I guess I don't know why that's different, why this is different than that. It's also minus their like skin tint. Like it's a liquid where I feel like everything else is a stick or a cream from them. I don't know. It's a little bit curious, right? But the setting quickly is like a thing in my brain where I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, I don't know. Like, not that I don't like that. I think that's actually kind of helpful for the under eye area, at least, because a lot of us have texture under our eyelids, whether more or less than other people. And I think things that set quickly, I think that's beneficial to that area. But I just could see it being like a more dry formula because of that. But what do I know? I don't know. Maybe it won't actually set that fast. But that's like just taking its word. That part of that whole thing kind of was jarring. It's much cheaper than the Victoria Beckham. It's a whole $20 cheaper than the Victoria Beckham. So there is that. So there is that. I still think I'd go with the Victoria Beckham one over this just because I'm more curious about it. I still want to at some point do a full Westman Atelier brand review, but I think the channel has to be at a bigger size than it currently is and make a little bit more money than it currently makes for that to be something that would be worth my time. Another concealer release. CL's releasing a concealer. MAC just released a new concealer. Here's the other side of where I'm at. So I'm like into highlighter again. I mean, I never was like 100% not into highlighter again. And what I think with eyeshadow is the same thing that's happening with highlighter is like the types of highlighters I want to be released are being released, as are the types of eyeshadows that I want to see in the world are being released. There's a shade extension from Kulfi. They added 2 eyeshadows to their eyeshadow range, their creamy eyeshadows. The Zari Eyes Long Lasting Crease Proof Cream Shadow. There's the shade Plum Pataka, which honestly it doesn't look exactly like the purple shade we just tried to dupe, but it has like a similar vibe to the purple shade we just duped from the Pat McGrath palette. So love that. I wouldn't buy it though because of that. However, there is Sona. And the thing about these Kulfi shadows, there wasn't a shade yet that really spoke to me. And while it is definitely more gold than like I'm 100% into, it looks very sparkly. I'm going to try to say your name right. I'm so sorry if I get it wrong. Newport. Sorry if I didn't. I just breezed past that. I saw her on TikTok and she put this sparkly shade all over her lid and I was like, if I could put her TikTok in here, I'll put it. Just like, look at that sparkle. It's just, I mean, this is what eyeshadow is to me. It's in its own pot. It's its own thing. It's not in an eyeshadow palette. It's the one eyeshadow. And it's sparkly and gorgeous and stunning. And I don't know if I will buy it because I obviously have a lot of this kind of thing in my makeup collection already. Like, I think Kulfi's a cool brand. I like what they're doing. I like what they're about. I haven't bought much from them. I have their eyeliner, which I like. It makes me excited to see a shade extension where both of the shades I think add value to like me ever wanting to buy one of those eyeshadows because I swatched them in store. They feel lovely. Just gorgeous. And I don't know. Something about that gold is really, I think it's just because it's sparkly. I don't know if it's like because I'm like all of a sudden into gold. I wear gold jewelry, but I mostly like cool tones. I got my nose pierced once and then I went back later to the same piercer like years later and got the second hole done. And honestly, slay so soon. 616 piercing if you're in the Pittsburgh area, great. And then I got my septum done. But I got hoops in my nose this time because I had my nose pierced once before. And when I got my nose pierced the first time, they put in, I think they call it like a screw hook. So it was the worst. I hated that kind of thing. And I figured if I got hoops put in, then I wouldn't really bother them. And that was truthful. However, I don't know how to get these hoops out. I don't think I can remove them. I think I would have to go to a piercer to get them removed. And I got rose gold. They look more gold than rose gold now at this point. And that's it. They're there. And I just don't touch them. So everything has to be gold jewelry wise. I mean, I love a mixed metallic. I don't have to do that. But like, at least in my nose, it's always going to be gold. Anyway, maybe I could be gold girly. I think gold would look sick with this, like gold. I'm just, like, I don't know. I'm thinking about her. I'm thinking about that Kulfi eyeshadow. I think shade extensions are where it's at whenever it comes to makeup releases anymore. It's like, oh, we can make this better by extending the shade range and adding fun textures and colors to a formula that people already know and love.
It's one thing I normally like about Victoria Beckham, although, you know, she released those lip balms and now I'm side-eyeing her. I'm like, and the $70 concealer. And finally, a product, since I've seen it, has not left my mind. And I actually got ads for this before I saw influencers really start talking about it. I saw this ad and I was like, whoa, this was a product that looks like it was made for me. It's a product that looks like it was made for me. I can't emphasize enough how giddy this product made me. I'm not sure I would even like it because of the formula, but what I will say is it's doing a lot for me, visually speaking, in its swatches, and I've seen a couple influencers give it a pretty good review. So that leads me to believe I would like it. And guess what? It's more eyeshadow. But I would say it's kind of like a hautemess Tom kind of eyeshadow. It's from Dose of Colors from all brands. And I say that like, I don't know, the last thing that Dose of Colors did that I was even remotely interested in is whenever they collaboration with Nima Tang and they had that dark brown lip kit. I mean, have you met me? I mean, I say as I'm wearing like concealer lips in this video, but I love a dark brown. I love a dark brown lip. So I love that kind of thing. But Dose of Colors, again, a brand that I don't care about in any kind of way. Never sparked an interest in me. I wasn't there for its prime whenever it was, I think it was most relevant in the beauty community. They released It's Literally Magic, the Zero Fallout Maximum Sparkle eyeshadow / all over face and body stick. Comes in 2 shades. It looks like it has a slight base and just a ton of sparkles. Oh my God. I'm like salivating. Like, oh my God. Does that seem like it was made for me? Now, I will say this before, you know, people jump into I have the KVD Dazzle sticks already on my I want to try them list, and these are right underneath them. This is right under, it's lit, like these sticks are right there. I'm chomping at the bit for these, babe. I haven't bought them because I am still trying to like abide by my eyeshadow no buy. I did buy some eyeshadows for a video that's coming down the pipeline, but like I don't often do that. And like these are, I want them for me. I want them for me. The other eyeshadows I bought were like, this is for a video, and I've turned out to really like them, but this would be an entirely selfish purchase. This would be it would be a lie for me to say I'm doing this for, I want them. I just want them. I want them. I want them a trillion times more than I want the gold shade from Colfi. Like, this is something I like palpably want. However, this is Critical Sass. And if I already have a penchant for sparkly eyeshadows with a sheer base, I already have something like this in my makeup collection. I feel like I've done a lot of swatching content recently, especially of my eyeshadows. And that's like not over, by the way. There will be more of that down the line. I feel like we've seen a lot of this. I've swatched a lot of things. Coming to mind, the Danessa Myricks Color Fix in Lilac Flame. It was mostly sheer with sparkles in it. The shade from Judy Doll, which I did not keep, pretty sheer with sparkles in it. I'm thinking of the gold palette from Natasha I, Sparks, Kava. I have both of those. Right now I have Space Cowboy from Urban Decay. I have the Ethereal Eyes palette from Makeup by Mario, and I love the shades in the center, which look like this looks, sort of. You know, like it kind of gives the same vibe. And I also have a couple just like pigments that are like sparkly pigments that are loose, which also could do something similar to this that have a little more shiftiness to them. So what I'm saying is this got me really excited, but it's also a lot of what I have. And yeah, I could, you know, be like, it's a new formula. It's from a brand I've never tried before. Like I could really sit here and try to talk myself into them as much as I could. And I don't think it would take much. That's what the After Sass is for. And that is the last item we're going to talk about. So if you are new to my channel, what I like to do after I do Critical Sasses, if you haven't gone on, this is my new makeup release video. It's over. But the next video you'll see on my channel is called the After Sass. And what I like to do in that video is to take some of the items we talked about in Critical Sass today, and it's not been like this in a while, where I've been excited about a lot of the products I've talked about in this video. And I go through my makeup collection and I try to put a face together with things I already have, that will help, you know, scratch the itch of some of the purchases I went to make. Also linked down below, I will have 3 different Instagrams where I use to resource my information for today's video. Trend Mood 1, Makeup on Your Radar, and Point Click Vibes, all linked down below. Follow them if you are into this kind of thing. If you're new to my channel, I'm so happy you've watched all the way to this point of the video. My channel is all about loving my makeup collection as it currently is while being a little bit cynical of new makeup releases. I want to help myself and help you build the habit of being more discerning about what we're buying when it comes to makeup, fragrance, and fashion. So if that sounds good to you, I would love to have you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Leave a comment down below what you thought of any of these releases, or if there's a release that I didn't talk about in this video that you would like me to cover maybe in the next Critical Sass. We're at the time. I think we're going to do 2 Critical Sasses a month. This is the second one in August. So I think we'll be doing this every other week. I think doing the Critical Sass and the After Sass as we head into holiday season is, I think, going to be helpful not only to me, but hopefully also to you. I have channel memberships and I have Patreon if you want to check those out. I do some additional content over there. I know what I'm doing for this month. It's not a vlog. I have been vlogging, but I'm going to do something a little bit different for this one. Something that's not actually easier for me, but something that will make more sense whenever you see it if you join one of those. There's no pressure to join my Patreon or channel memberships. It just helps make this channel more feasible for me to do and allows me a little more grace and space to buy things for review occasionally. And I also have in the pinned comment down below, there is a link to help a family in Gaza. If you have the means to help them, please do so. And that's going to wrap up everything. Remember to follow your haute and you'll find me. I'll see you in a video very soon. Go forth, tits literally out, which is what I did in this video today.